Hello, you guys. So for today's reading topic, we're going to find out what have you learned so far from your previous connections or past relationships. So we have here 3 crystals: red Jasper for group 1, Unakite for group 2, and we have the Rhodonite crystal for group number 3. Let's begin. Hello, red Jasper. Let's find out what have you learned so far from your previous connections or past relationships. Spirit guides, archangels, and angels, please provide some guided messages for the collective who chose group number 1. The World. Six of Wands. Strength. Two of Wands. Seven of Cups in reverse. King of Pentacles. And we have here 9 of Pentacles. Okay, very nice. I'm seeing here a lot of earth signs: Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus. Well, we have Taurus as well. And then we have fire signs: Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, especially Leo. So group number 1, what have you learned so far from your previous connections or past relationships? First, what I'm actually hearing is that a lot of you were able to learn that there are some things that, even though it's hard to accept or to acknowledge, that I have to move forward. I keep on hearing that. So for some of you, maybe in the past, you were still holding on to something so tightly. Okay? It's hard for you to move forward. It's hard for you to accept that things already ended. Okay? It's not to say that you're giving up on it, but it's more of like, okay, things already ended, but whether this person comes back or not, I'm going to keep on moving forward. That's really what I heard, okay? Number 2 lesson that I'm actually picking up very strongly is that a lot of you chose group number 1. You also learned something about transparency, honesty. I'm hearing very strongly that a lot of you probably dealt with a person or some people in your life in which they're always holding themselves back. There is lack of transparency. There's lack of honesty even, okay? And this is something that you have realized for yourself that you don't want in a partnership. Whether it's a business partnership, whether it's actually a friendship or a romantic interest. Because you value openness and honesty. Look at this with the 7 of Cups. There's a lot of mask, okay? So I really feel that people who chose group number 1 may have dealt with those type of connections in which they're not really showing you how they truly feel about you, or they're not being very open and honest towards you. Especially that we're seeing here this Strength card, where somebody's actually restricting themselves or holding themselves back. And a lot of you actually realize that. Why am I holding on to a connection in which there is a lack of honesty? I don't deserve that. I feel a lot of you realize that for yourself, all right? That you deserve somebody with this King of Pentacles, all right? Who's going to be emotionally mature as well. Somebody who's very grounded. Somebody who is willing to settle down. Not somebody's going to be with you one day and then out the next, or hot and cold on you as well. For some of you, I'm actually hearing very strongly that with this 9 of Pentacles as well, this is you being independent and being single. A lot of you realize that, you know what? I'd rather be single than to be in the company of fake people, dishonest people, or somebody's not really capable of giving me this really beautiful, balanced relationship. Okay? It's like you are enjoying what you have right now with the 9 of Pentacles. you're okay on your own. Not to say you don't want to be in a relationship with someone, but you are more careful when it comes to your choices in life as well as when it comes to love. And again, Two of Wands is a decision as well, because this person is actually deciding which is which, all right, with these two steps. So I'm actually getting here that a lot of you learned a lot from those past experiences, in which you are also learning to enjoy your freedom with this Nine of Pentacles. That I'm happy on my own, all right? Not the same, not really interested to be in a relationship, but I'm happy on my own. If there's someone out there who's going to be in this King of Pentacles, well and good, all right? But definitely, I don't want to engage in a relationship or a partnership in which there's lack of transparency, there's dishonesty, okay? Now, again, this reading is not just tied to romantic, partnerships. That's why, what have you learned basically from your previous connections? Connections can be, or relationships can be friendship, or it can be a person that you've worked with from your past, things like that. So yeah, let's try to pull up another set of cards here. What group number 1 learned so far from their previous connections or past relationships? Courage. Dreams. Now this is interesting. So you got here the Courage card, and it says here, I find the inner strength to face fear with confidence. And then you got your dreams. So this can be the viewer, or this can be the person or the people that you may have dealt with, okay? So I'm actually getting here, if this is actually you, maybe you're also having a hard time expressing yourself, all right? Maybe it's hard for you to kind of like to be, more transparent or honest. But for a lot of you, it can be those people or a person in your past who's doing this, okay? In which they don't have any courage, all right, to express themselves freely. Because look at this Dreams card. There is a lady, she's actually kind of like in this defensive position. She's holding herself tightly, all right? She's a little bit guarded, okay? And then we see here images of jellyfishes. And like what I always say, every time I see this card, for me, there's something about transparency. Because jellyfishes are transparent, right? So I'm really getting that. There's really something around being authentic, being open, being honest. Having the courage to be yourself, right? Having the courage to express who you truly are. So I'm getting that. Those are the things that you're learning from your previous connections or past relationships. So whether this is also the viewer, but for a lot of you, like what I said, it is somebody from your past or some connections from your past is doing that. So let's see, what else? Oh my gosh, are you freaking kidding me? Seek the truth. That is the Seven of Swords energy. Deception. Okay? Or somebody's not being very open and honest. Are you freaking kidding me? That's exactly why I kept on picking up for group number 1. There's really something about transparency or honesty. Okay? And then you have your Bone Collector. So yeah, like what I said earlier, this is just basically a validation from Spirit that a lot of you are learning a lot when it comes to the lesson of openness, honesty, or transparency. So whether it's actually the people or a person from your past that you've dealt with, they're wearing masks. Remember the Seven of Cups card? In which, yeah, I feel that's the case for a lot of you. In which you may have dealt with people who's not being very authentic. There's a lot of mask here. And has left you feeling confused. You're always wanting to seek the truth. Like, what is going on? Does this person really wants me? Is this person for real? Or what? What is this person's intention? Okay? And so I'm actually getting here, these are the things that you are picking up from those relationships or those partnerships. I feel as well that a lot of you chose group number 1. You are able to close out a cycle, all right? Or you're about to. Because I'm drawn to the World card. So maybe you may have dealt with a lot of people behaving like this. And it's like it has taught you now to close out a very toxic or difficult cycle is what I'm actually hearing from Spirit. Let's see, what else? Okay, echoes. Deceit. Are you freaking kidding me? You saw me shovel as always. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. Wow, wow, wow. So I'm hearing 2 different things here. Okay, let's start off with the echoes. Echoes is a card that talks about your roots, customs, cultures. So for some of you, you may have dealt with somebody from a different culture. Okay, maybe you and this person are from different ethnicities or culture. So I feel that you've learned a lot, that there are some differences, all right? And that there is a need for you to accept those differences, because it is not your job really to change a person, okay? And that person also doesn't have to change you according to what he or she wants. You are who you are, and that person is actually behaving like that based upon the, the environment or how that person was brought up, all right? I feel that's another thing that you were learning for some of you, especially if you're resonating with, yes, that person is from a different culture or ethnicity. Next, you got deceit. Well, I don't need to echo myself again, all right? But yeah, that's the point of Spirit. A lot of you learned a lot about honesty. Okay, whether this is the viewer having the courage to finally express themselves, because by not expressing yourself clearly, it will result to confusion. It would result to misunderstanding or miscommunication. Okay, but for a lot of you, you may have dealt with deceptive people, or people who are not being very open, who's not being very clear with their intentions for you. Okay, let's see what else. And if you notice, I'm fumbling with my words all of a sudden, because I noticed that the energy for group number 1, it had something to do with communication, or having this open and honest, communication, or, yeah, there's something about deception. So that's why I notice I myself is having a hard time talking, because I'm actually picking up there's something about throat chakra blockage, okay? Yep, and then you also got your sovereignty. So with the sovereignty card, what I'm actually hearing very strongly here is that a lot of you chose group number 1 based upon the experiences from past connections or past relationships. You finally learned how to take control of your life. Okay, that's the energy of this card, of the Queen of the Moon. All right, you are in charge of your destiny. So I'm really, getting here that this has taught you to trust your instincts. This has taught you to listen to your own inner guidance. This has taught you to follow what you feel is going to be right for you, okay? To listen to your discernment, or to follow your discernment. And also, to take charge of your life without having to depend on others. All right, there's something about that, you being independent. That's why when I saw the 9 of Pentacles, that's really the energy that I got. If we can remember that, let me actually, yeah, there you go, right? There's something about you being this very independent person, because you're taking charge of your life now, all right? So yeah, that's what I'm getting with that sovereignty card. Let's see what else. What have you learned from previous connections or past relationships? Group number 1. Clean it up. Patience. Right. Okay. So with the clean it up, what I'm actually hearing very strongly from Spirit is that you may have also learned, all right, to kind of like declutter, meaning you may have reflected on your relationships, okay? Not necessarily, again, just about a romantic partner. Everybody, all right? Who are the people that you're surrounded with that are really good for you is actually what I'm hearing. Who is real? Who is not? That's really what I'm getting, because I was really drawn to the Seven of Cups, where there's actually an image of, yeah, a lot of mask here. So I feel since the energy for group number 1, it had something to do with deception, it had something to do with honesty and all that. I feel a lot of you learned now, all right, to be careful around your associations. Who do you surround yourself with all the time? Are these people real for you? Are these people, you know, honest? Do they have the best of intentions for you? That's really what I'm getting. It has taught you to become selective in your associations or partnerships. And that's talking about you having this healthy choice in your love life or in life in general. Then you got your patience. Just like what I said earlier, if you can still remember at the very beginning of your reading, a lot of you guys learned how to keep on moving forward, okay? Because you have learned that there are some things that are beyond your control. Yes, things may have ended between you and this person that you really want, all right? But I won't, you know, kind of like waste my time 24 hours a day waiting for this person to choose me or to reach out to me. Because you're beginning to realize that I have a life to live. Remember the sovereignty card? In which you are the ruler of your own life. You're learning that I shouldn't allow myself to be sitting in one corner, crying all day and night, waiting for this person to text me or to call me. I have a life to live. I have to keep on moving forward. And whatever happens, whether this person comes back or not, life goes on. There must be a reason. If this person comes back, well and good. If not, then there must be a reason. You're learning to become patient with yourself. You're not holding on to the outcome anymore. Because you're learning that there is a reason for everything. And number 2, that only the universe knows, all right, what is really planned for you. Or if this connection is really for your highest good or not. Wow. All right, let's see. What else? Broken open. Ooh. Ascendant Masters. Yeah, now this is very, very beautiful. What I'm actually getting based on these 2 cards is that with the Broken Open, you have learned, all right, to be in this space of being at peace, right? Because by always controlling the outcome, always figuring out, you got to seek the truth, right? In which you really wanted to get the answers now. When is this person coming back? Why is this person not here yet? What's going to happen next? Will this person reach out to me? It's putting you in a space of anxiety and confusion, where there's always questions swimming around in your mind. And so I feel the lesson as well that you've learned from previous connections or past relationships is just to be still, okay? To enjoy the present moment. Just like with this lady over here, she is meditating. She's trying to keep herself balanced, okay? There's something about that. And look at this image over here. We see her, this image of the heart chakra shining and all that. That's why it says here broken open. So I'm also getting here as well that you are also learning, all right, to love yourself first. To fill your own cup first. That's really what I'm getting from that image. That you have to give that to yourself first before expecting somebody else to fill that for you. Because remember, partnerships is all about sharing. It's not to say you have to depend on others to give you happiness. Or you're actually looking for happiness outside of yourself. With a broken open, this is your awakening. This is what you realize, all right? That it exists from within. With the Ascendant Masters, I feel that your spiritual guides, maybe an Ascendant Master is also kind of like helping you in your journey as well, group number 1, okay? And just the same, what I'm actually hearing, all right? A lot of people are trying to seek for God, all right? When God is already within you. There is a quote by Rumi, I believe. I feel that was Rumi, in which I've tried to search for God for with the temples or different places, mosque and all that, but only to realize that God is already within me. So I feel that's the same energy here when I saw these 2 cards, in which you were able to see something. With those experiences, with those past connections, it has taught you to look from within. To search for happiness and love within yourself first. Okay, that's why you got the 9 of Pentacles, which is an independent energy, an independent card. So yeah, wow, very beautiful. I love this. Play and then magic. Okay, what I actually heard with this play, 2 things, okay? First, with a play card, I feel that those past connections or those previous relationships with a broken open card, if you still remember that card, it has allowed you, all right, to look within, right? And I feel as well those past connections has triggered you as well to heal your inner child wounds. That's really what I'm hearing for group number 1, all right? Those triggers they've gotten from past relationships or previous connections enabled you to look within, to reflect back on the wounds that you may have already. And those wounds are inner child wounds. Number 2, what I'm getting here with this play card, all right, is that you've learned to be patient. It's like, okay, this person's not here yet. It's not to say I'm giving up or, that it's impossible for us to get back together, but I have a life to live, so I'm just going to be patient without really controlling the outcome. I'm just going to continue living my life, all right? I'm going to incorporate fun and play into my life, and who knows? Whether that person comes back or not, I'm still happy. I'm living my life. I'm riding with the waves. That's really what I'm getting when I saw this play card as well, all right? Another thing, by the way, this card is also talking about you realizing that you deserve to be happy. And that's actually also the energy that I got earlier. Since you realize that I should be around people who would bring out the best in me. I should be around people who's going to be real with me. All right, that's what I deserve. In order for me to be happy, I should allow myself to be surrounded by like-minded people, people who can give me that balanced type of partnership. So yeah, I just love how everything is matching. And then you got the magic card. And so this is about confidence, all right, with the magic. So I really feel here that for group number 1, what your previous connections or past relationships has taught you is that it's taught you to, again, to see how beautiful you are. It has taught you to believe in yourself. Most especially if past connections or previous relationships has made you feel less of yourself. Okay? Or it has affected your self-worth. And yeah, that's why I'm getting inner child here. All right? Maybe because when you were a kid, that's what you didn't, feel when you were growing up. And it was triggered again by those, past relationships or past connection in which you kind of like lost confidence in yourself. You kind of like felt as if that you're not worthy, all right? Or how those people made you feel. Because this card magic is all about that. It had something to do with believing how magical you are, how beautiful you are, how amazing you are. Wow, I love your reading, group number 1. There's a lot of lessons, I noticed. But yeah, let's pull up another set of cards here. rest and rejuvenate. Okay. Again, we see a person meditating. That's crazy. Earlier with the broken open card, it shows a woman in a lotus position meditating. And now we see here this guy meditating in the woods. Again, there's something about balance here. Okay. Being still. That's more of like the energy I'm getting. Self-discipline. Right. Okay. Yeah. So I feel that those previous connections or past relationships has taught you to become a lot more disciplined, okay? Maybe because you lost your balance. Maybe in the past you tend to put your focus entirely on those connections or the pain that it has caused you, okay? So there's something about self-discipline here, all right? For group number 1. Either you have learned to, again, to take control of your life, to take your power back, to be still, to be patient, okay? That's part of the self-discipline. And again, even with this guy meditating, it's like just being balanced, being still, being calm, being centered. So yeah, very beautiful for group number 1 so far. We're actually down to a few more cards. So let's see here. What else, Spirit? What has group number 1 learned so far from previous connections or past relationships? Patience. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me? What? What? Okay. If you can remember, you got the patience card. And we were just talking about being still, being centered. And if you can remember as well, yeah, that's the card that you got. Patience. And you got it again. Oh my gosh. I just love the synchronicity of your reading. So that's very, very important for group number 1. I feel that this is really what you've learned so far from your previous relationships. To be patient, okay? Not to control the outcome. To be still, just like what I said. And like what I said, it's not to say you have to give up entirely, all right? Because only the universe knows, right? Whether you are really meant for this person or not. Nobody's saying you should give up. But it's more of like, all right, I don't have any control of what's about to happen. But instead of, allowing myself to be in this anxious state, always figuring out, always trying to search for some truth, I'm just going to be still. I'm just going to be in the flow, all right? I'm just going to be patient, and I will live my life playing, all right? Or having fun while waiting. That's really what I'm getting here. Are you kidding me? You got to love yourself first. See? I told you. When we actually saw this card broken open, all right, she found that within herself. That's actually what I heard. When she actually tried to reflect back, when she actually, decided to go within, she realized she had an awakening that I have to give that love that I'm searching for to myself first. And whatever it is that I have, once I was able to fill my own cup first, whatever it is that I have, I'm just going to share it with someone, whether it's a person from your past or somebody new coming in, okay? Because you've learned already. Maybe, group number 1, you have a tendency to give everything to someone. Attention, time, money, energy, all right? But you're learning the lesson of balance. And again, with those people meditating, that's it, balance. You're learning how to be a lot more, mature as well in handling yourself, as well as how you're going to invest your time, money, and energy with anybody, whether it's a friend, whether it's actually relationships, whatever, okay? But yeah, love yourself first. Your self-respect makes you more romantically attractive. Because maybe I feel for some of you, you may have caught yourself always the one initiating. All right? You're always the one who's chasing after this person. You're always the one doing everything for this person that you love. And along the way, you may have lost your self-respect, okay? But because of that experience or because of that, connection, it has taught you to love yourself first, to put yourself first, to fill your own cup first. Okay. The golden mirror. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It says here, self-absorbed, narcissist, one-sided relationship. Exactly. Are you kidding me? So just like what I said at the very beginning of the reading, I feel a lot of you dealt with people or past connections or past relationships in which it lacks transparency, honesty, all right? Remember the Strength card and then the Seven of Cups card where there's a lot of, mask. So I feel because of them, behaving that way, all right, it has made you feel not only confused, but it kind of like made you feel as if that it's a one-sided relationship. And let's just say, even if that person actually really has a lot of feelings for you, okay, that's their issue. It's not your problem. That is something that that person needed to heal themselves. And it's not your responsibility to heal that person. We are responsible for our own healing. Always remember that, okay? And we cannot expect for a person to heal right away, even. Okay? But it happened for a reason. That particular relationship or connection happened because it is going to be reflecting back something towards you, which is the wounds that you also needed to heal. And so far, what I'm actually getting here, it had something to do with inner child wounds, self-worth, self-respect, self-love. Based on the entire reading so far. Alright? And then it got clock. It needs time, takes time, cycles, time to heal, and progress. What? I just love how everything is matching. Remember the cycle that I was talking about earlier? Because that's what I heard when I saw the World card. A lot of you chose group number 1. Either you successfully, closed out a cycle that kept on repeating over and over again. Okay, relationship pattern is actually what I'm getting. For others of you are still about to close out this cycle, okay? But be patient. You got the patience card. Be patient with yourself as well. Group number 1, healing takes time. It's not an overnight thing. And you may also find yourself really, surprised that you thought you've healed this part of you. Alright, some wounds that you were trying to heal, or you've healed that, and then all of a sudden you will get triggered again. If that ever happens, don't be surprised. It's normal. It happens a lot. Even to me, even to a lot of people out there. Alright? Be gentle with yourself, group number 1. It just takes time. And that's why I got the patience card. Alright? The entire situation is really teaching you to become patient. To be patient with yourself, with a person, or with a situation. How amazing is this? I love your reading, group number 1. Before we wrap things up, let me pull up a message for you. Message for group number 1, please. Okay, you got 2. Act as if your partner is here. All right. Whether you have someone in your life or not, act as if they are with you so you will always consider them. It's actually a great deck if you wanted to attract love. Most especially, I also noticed for group number 1, some of you are single, all right? Because you got the single card or the independent card, which is the 9 of Pentacles. So I really feel that you are learning to be happily single. It's not to say that you don't want to be in a relationship. But like what I said earlier, you wanted to attract somebody who's capable as well of giving a balanced and healthy relationship with you. Because you already learned from the past, all right? You learned how to create balance. You learned how to love yourself first, or you're still learning to do that, okay? And so if you're resonating with, yes, I'm actually single right now. I'm not really, with someone. But I am hoping that I can attract somebody out there. Then, yeah, this is the message for you. Act as if your partner is actually here. It's kind of like you're claiming it already. Wow. And then next we have choose love. You always have a choice. Make yours with love. So, yeah, I'm also getting here as well with the choose love. Choose yourself, okay? That's really what I heard. Before somebody can actually choose you, you have to choose yourself. Maybe some of you may have felt that people around you treated you as an option, okay? That's why you got to love yourself first. So, choose love by choosing yourself first, all right? Start from within. Start with yourself, or begin with yourself. So that's all I have for you, group number 1. Oh my gosh, I'm fumbling with my words again. That's crazy. That's all I have for you. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye for now. Well, we have here Unakite crystal for group number 2. So let's find out, what have you learned so far from your previous connections or past relationships? Spirit guides, archangels, and angels, please provide some guided messages for the collective which chose group number 2. Temperance. The Sun. Strength in reverse. The World. Nine of Swords. Four of Pentacles. And at the bottom of the deck, you have here the Creatrix. Okay. Wow. A lot of major arcanas for group number 2. So I feel that group number 2 learned a very significant lesson, okay, from their previous connections or past relationships. So we have here all fire signs. We have Aries, strong Leo, as well as Sagittarius. And then we also have here Taurus, if it's actually Earth. For some of you, it can also be air signs, Aquarius, Libra, Gemini. Okay, so what have you learned so far from your previous connections or past relationships? What I'm actually getting here for group number 2 is that, just like group number 1, there is something about balance here, okay? Because I'm drawn with the 4 of Pentacles. There's scales of justice here. So I'm actually getting that some of you may have encountered a relationship or a connection that lacks balance, okay? Number 2, I'm getting here as well that there's also something about a person who's very guarded or who has been holding themselves back, because you got the Strength card, okay? And 4 of Pentacles is also talking about that. Somebody's actually kind of like very guarded and all that. So there's a lot of control. I keep on hearing the word control. So whether it's them controlling their true feelings, okay? And it has left you feeling so confused and really anxious with this 9 of Swords. You're always trying to figure out, what does this person really wants with me? Okay, why is this person not really opening up? There's something about that, because you may have dealt with somebody who's doing that. Others of you, I'm really picking up something really toxic. So maybe you may have actually, dealt with a person who's a bit narcissistic or very toxic and controlling or manipulative, okay? So again, only take what applies. And I feel that you learned how to break free. If you're resonating with, yes, my previous partner or that previous connection was really, toxic because they are a narcissist, or that person is an energy vampire, you learned how to break free from that. You learned how to close out a cycle and to heal from it. Because you have realized that this is not what you truly deserve. You deserve happiness. You deserve a healthy partnership, okay? Because that partnership, most especially if you're resonating with, you've dealt with a narcissist or somebody's very toxic, because I'm getting that for group number 2, you may have kind of like gotten yourself, trapped for some time, all right? I'm hearing gaslighting. So maybe you stayed in the connection or in the relationship because, number 1, you always, believe what this person is telling you. This person has made you feel guilty. This person has made you feel as if that, oh yeah, he or she is right. Again, there's something about gaslighting here. For some of you, I'm actually hearing that there's guilt. It's hard for you to kind of like break free from that toxic partnership or relationship because that person also made you feel guilty, or you feel guilty for releasing this person or breaking free from this connection for whatever reason, okay? But yeah, I feel that you have learned to create balance and boundaries here. That was so strong, okay? And then lastly, I'm also getting very strongly as well that for some of you, you may be the type who's always holding on to something so tightly with this Four of Pentacles, because that's the energy of the Four of Pentacles, and you got the Strength card. So past relationships or past connections has taught you, all right, to just allow things to be, okay, and to be patient as well with the Temperance card, okay. Temperance is also balance, by the way. That's why I was talking about balance earlier. But for that specific scenario, I'm actually hearing that some of you learned how to just let things be. Because again, the Magician, which is the Creatrix card over here, is talking about you taking control of everything, all right? Even though it's not in reverse, because that's not really how I do things. Honestly, I may read cards, you know, not necessarily it should be in reverse. It depends on what I'm hearing, honestly, from Spirit. But I'm more like hearing that for some of you, you always wanted, all right, to control the situation or to have control of the situation. And if you're not getting it, it's putting you in this Nine of Swords state. Like, why is it not happening? I've been manifesting this. Why is it not happening according to what I want? And so I'm actually getting here for group number 2. A lot of you has learned that, you know what? I shouldn't just force things, okay? I'm just going to let things be. And to be patient as well with myself, all right? That's really what I'm getting. So for group number 2, there's so many... yeah, messages here. There are so many specific scenarios. That's what I actually noticed. So only take what applies, all right? Let's try to pull up another set of cards here. What group number 2 has learned so far from previous connections or past relationships. You got forgiveness. Okay. Yeah, Song of the Siren. So what I'm actually getting here based on these 2 cards, with the forgiveness card, I'm getting here, well, yeah, it has taught you to forgive yourself. It has taught you to forgive the person too. Now, like what I always say, for the end time, forgiveness doesn't mean you tolerate their behavior. That what they have done towards you is okay, all right? But you have the courage now to move forward. You're releasing that because it's interfering with your happiness, okay? It's interfering with your present. If you always try to harbor any anger or resentment towards others. So that's why it says here, I acknowledge that harboring resentment blocks the flow of love, okay? And that's actually the lesson that you have learned. You've forgiven yourself. Or you may have also forgiven those people or that person who may have hurt you. And then you got the Song of the Siren. You're acknowledging, basically, all right? You're acknowledging things as they are, all right? You may have also learned how to acknowledge your own mistakes because we're not perfect anyway, all right? Or some of you may have acknowledged that people behave because of who they are, not necessarily because you did something or it was your fault. But it's a reflection of who they are. It had nothing to do with you. And that's another lesson that you may have learned as well from your previous connections or past relationships. Interesting. Let's see what else. Dragon's Lair. And again, awaiting results. So that's why I got the Temperance card. This is also a card that talks about patience. Okay, this is the Seven of Pentacles. At the same time, Seven of Pentacles is also a balance card. All right, that's why I said at the very start of the reading, I could pick up, there's a lesson around balance for you guys, as well as patience. Okay. And like what it says here, awaiting results. I feel a lot of you were kind of like waiting for this person either to commit, to take some form of action, but it didn't happen. And you're really hurt about that because they've been holding back themselves for whatever reason, okay? And just like what I said, if you're resonating with that scenario, I feel that you've learned how to become patient, and that you've learned not to expect so much from a relationship or from a person. You are who you are, they are who they are. Okay, that's really what I'm getting. And even though what they have done towards you or their behavior towards you is wrong, it just says a lot about who they are. They have their unique problems or challenges that they needed to work on. Okay? But it's not to say that the problem is you. So there's something about you learning how not to take things personally as well. That's another message that's coming through. With a dragon's lair, what I'm actually getting there is that, yeah, you may have dealt with somebody who's very guarded, all right? Look at that. This castle is actually covered with thick snow. So again, there's actually that energy of them not being very warm and open towards you, all right? And you're waiting, with this awaiting results, you're waiting for this person to soften up or to open up, to let down their guards. I'm getting that. I feel that a lot of you chose group number 2. You may have dealt with a person who's not really emotionally available. There's a lot of restriction. There's a lot of holding back. That's why I got the strength card earlier. Right? And then I'm also getting here, if this is all about patience, maybe the lesson that some of you may have learned is that you have to, you know, basically just allow things to grow naturally. Maybe you wanted something right away, all right? But that connection has taught you to just enjoy what you currently have, to allow things to naturally grow. For instance, if you guys are friends, then just enjoy the relationship as being friends first, okay? Instead of expecting for that friendship to turn out to become romantic right away. Because again, there's a lesson around patience here. Maybe that person is not necessarily trying to avoid relationship or trying not wanting to be, you know, in a committed partnership with you. But maybe that person always wanted, you know, to take things slow, or this person's not really ready yet. It's not to say he or she doesn't like you, but that person needed space, or that person actually wanted to just enjoy what you currently have first. There's something about that as well for group number 2, okay? Let's see, what else? Oh, yeah, hidden. Exactly. Now that's crazy. Look at this. It says here, wisdom, elementals, fairy, uncover. So yeah, something is hidden, right? And I feel what is hidden, it can be their true feelings. Because you got the 4 of Pentacles. Like what I told you at the very start of the reading, I feel a lot of you chose group number 2. You may have dealt with past connections or a past relationship in which the person is actually very guarded. They're not connecting with their heart, or they're not really, you know, emotionally available. That's why, if you can remember with the dragon's lair, there's that thick snow covering this castle. It's like I'm getting a very detached, emotionally detached person, and you're like figuring things out. When will this person ever open up? Does this person want me? Okay, it's like everything is hidden from you. All right. Or you may be dealing with a person who's hiding a lot. So again, there's something about honesty here as well. For a lot of you chose group number 2. Let's see, what else? Yeah, you got your second chakra, Archangel Ariel. So I really feel that the connection that you've dealt with from your past, or the relationship that you've dealt with from your past, I feel that they are kind of like, again, so guarded. You wanted this person, but this person is having a hard time expressing that towards you. So they have this cold front, is actually what I'm hearing. Because Spirit really wanted me to highlight the snow. So it's really cold, all right? They can be emotionally detached. They know how to hide things. They're not openly expressing that towards you. I feel that group number 2, you're more open and demonstrative when you are into someone, okay? But you may have dealt with somebody who always hold themselves back. Wow. All right, let's see what else. Chop wood. Very interesting. Chop wood is a card that talks about living in the present moment, staying in the present. And that's interesting because you have a lot of cards around being patient as well. Okay, so I feel this is one of the major lessons that you're also learning from your previous connections or past relationships. It is to live in the present, okay? To stay in the moment, to enjoy what you currently have. If you're still seeing this person, if this person is still in your life, then enjoy what we currently have without expecting way too much, okay? I feel this is what you are currently learning from this relationship, if this person is still with you, or this is what you've learned from your previous or past relationships. It is to stay in the moment, to enjoy the moment, not to control the outcome as well. Yeah, and then you got your discernment. So I'm also getting here as well that for group number 2, part what you have learned as well from your previous relationship is to trust your own discernment. You know what's right and it's not right for you. Maybe in the past, you may have kind of like tried not to look into those red flags. Like you already know that there's something, there's something off here, okay? And I'm drawn to this chop wood card because there's cleaning materials. So I'm getting here that some of you may have dealt really with a toxic person, okay? Because remember, there was a message from Spirit that some of you are in a relationship before in which the relationship is very toxic. You may have dealt with a narcissist even, okay? Or there's a lot of drama and all that. So I feel that some of you kind of like failed to see things as they are. Just like with this discernment card over here where her vision is actually clouded because you don't want to see the truth or you're afraid to see it. You know that there are so many red flags already, but it took some time before you had the courage to break free from that toxic partnership. And you were able to do that. For a lot of you, chose this pile, of course. And besides, the reading is all about what have you learned, okay? So for a lot of you, you've already, kind of like broke free from that really toxic relationship. Because I feel that you were able to learn to listen to your own discernment or to trust your discernment about certain things. You know what's right for you, what is not really right for you anymore, okay? Let's see, what else? Yeah, purification. Oh my gosh, healing. I feel that those past relationships, whether it's really toxic or not, I'm getting here, it has taught you as well to heal some parts of you that were triggered. That's number 1. Number 2, I'm actually getting here as well that with the sunflower, there's actually something about confidence, okay? And courage. Especially if you were in a toxic or narcissistic type of partnership. I feel it took some time, but you finally took the courage or had the courage, all right, to stand tall with the sunflower, to stand tall. And to choose yourself, to choose your own freedom, to choose what is right for you according to your own discernment, according to what you now really feel is right for you, okay? So, I don't know, I'm getting courage and bravery as well for group number 2. Let's see if there's anything else. Yeah, body and soul. Look at this. I'm drawn again to the image of the dragonfly. Well, dragonfly is also talking about healing, okay? And you got the purification, which is a healing card. So I really feel that, yeah, just like what I said earlier, those previous connections or past relationships has enabled you to heal your shadow side. That's actually what I'm hearing. Number 2, I'm also hearing as well that it has taught you to become balanced, mind, body, and soul. All right. And with the dragonfly too, this is also talking about adapting to some changes. So maybe in the past it was hard for you to kind of like adapt to some changes that happened within the partnership or whatever happened between you and that person in your mind, okay? But you became a lot more mature, okay? Because again, dragonfly is a symbolism for maturity as well, all right? I feel because of that experience, it has taught you to see things differently, to handle your feelings and emotions differently than before. Wow, I love this. Let's see, what else? Colors, numbers. Loss. Interesting. This colors and numbers is talking about acknowledging your true feelings. Okay? It says here, what feelings are you struggling to acknowledge? So this can be for the viewer as well. All right? If you're resonating more with, yes, I'm having a hard time acknowledging my own feelings. All right? And expressing them freely and openly, then yeah, I feel this is what you're learning from your past connections or from your previous relationships. I feel that you allowed things to pass without having the courage to express it to someone. I'm getting that somebody watching group number 2 is doing that or has learned from that experience in which, for instance, this is just an example. You probably like someone so much or you wanted somebody so much, but you just allowed time to pass. Just like with this grandfather clock here and the balloons that just drifted away. So I'm actually getting here that because of your fear, all right, or because of you're not confident, you just decided to keep it to yourself until that time, came in which this person's no longer right in front of you with the lost card over here. But then again, you can switch that. So for some of you, this may be the case in which you experience that from somebody, all right? Or this person failed to acknowledge their true feelings or to open up to you, and until you decided to walk away from the relationship or the connection because you realized that, you know what, I can't just wait here and, waste my time waiting as well for this person to open up and to express their truth. I have a life to live. So if you're not going to open up, if nothing is going to ever happen into this relationship, I better get moving. All right. I have a plane to catch. And so this can also be the person, all right, that you're dealing with, in which because of their struggling in acknowledging their feelings for you, it was you who decided to finally walk away, and now they're actually in deep regret because they lost you. But for a very few of you, this can be you doing that, in which you allowed time to pass because you are having a hard time expressing it, all right? You're just keeping everything to yourself. So there's also something about that for a very few of you. In which you tried to hold things back as well. With the strength card, you may be a Leo, all right? I'm hearing from Spirit that it was a Leo, all right? So I don't know who is that Leo, but I heard that, in which it was so hard for you to be open and vulnerable, all right? There's something about that. It was so hard for you to acknowledge if you are in pain. It was so hard for you to acknowledge that you were hurt or that you really feel for someone. There's something about that as well, all right? But that's for maybe 1 or 2 of you, okay? Not for all of you. Anyway, let's move on to the next set of cards. Sacral chakra again, you guys. It's all about, desire, passion, okay? Creativity as well. Oh, yeah. Okay, and then you got your health. All right, what I actually heard very strongly, honestly, with these two cards is that there's something about you getting wrapped up in a type of connection in which it's all about passion, but it lacks emotion. All right, that's really what I heard when I saw this. So maybe for some of you, you have dealt with a type of a person who's really passionate, yeah, all right, sensual and all that, but you notice that when it comes to the matters of the heart, or if you're expecting for this person to open up and be more emotionally, available towards you, that's where it's lacking. You suddenly felt as if that this person is suddenly cold towards you, and you're like, what? I thought there's something going on. You're flirting with each other, all right? We're becoming a lot more intimate, but then all of a sudden this person became cold. Most especially if the relationship, is starting to become serious, or you're starting to open up or show some signs that you wanted something else deeper. Okay? So I'm getting here that some of you may have dealt with a person who's not really the type who's going to be serious with you or wanting to be in a serious partnership, all right? They're not really emotionally connected to you. There's emotional disconnection. That's really what I'm getting here, okay? And I feel that's what you've learned, that there's an imbalance. That's why earlier I kept on hearing over and over again that there is something around the lesson of balance for group number 2 as well. And with health, I'm actually getting here as well, again, you have learned, all right, to choose what is right for you. That's why I got the discernment card for your own health. Not necessarily just your physical health, your overall well-being, what is actually going to make you happy, what is going to make you feel fulfilled, right? Most especially if you are resonating with, you were in a toxic partnership. It has affected you so much. That's really what I heard from Spirit, okay? Maybe you've dealt with somebody who messed around with your head, and that person made you feel less of yourself, right? And you kind of like believe in the past about what this person has been saying. Remember the gaslighting? Yeah. So I'm also getting that when I saw this health card. Very interesting. I noticed group number 2. You chose group number 2, and there's a lot of number 2 as well. So you might be seeing that very often. Anyway, let's actually pull it more. What group number 2 learned so far from previous connections. So yeah, I got beauty card. Well, you are beautiful inside and out, group number 2. So there's actually really something about you learning your value, your worth, all right? Because maybe those, connections they've had in the past actually made you feel less, just like what I said, all right? Or you begin to question your worth. But you were able to realize that I am beautiful, all right? I am worthy. And I'm drawn again to this beauty card. If you can see it, there's actually a snake, okay? So again, there's something about toxicity here, all right? There's deception as well. So I really feel that a lot of you also learned who should you trust, or who should you allow to be in your life. Are they trustworthy? Are they reliable? That's another thing I'm getting. Because if you can remember, you got the discernment card. So maybe because you are very trusting, not to say you are innocent and all that, but yeah, maybe you're just the type of person you try to, give benefit of the doubt, is what I'm hearing from Spirit. And you really don't want to think something bad about a person, okay? But that person that you've dealt with from your past, they are seeing you as a prey. They know that you're vulnerable as well. And maybe you have believed whatever this person has told you or what they have promised you. That's actually what I'm hearing as well. So again, there's also something about trust here. And yeah, if it's a snake, because he got that with a strength card with this huge python over here. Oh my gosh. Yeah, very toxic energy. I won't be surprised if a lot of people chose group number 2 were in a very narcissistic, very toxic partnership in the past. Anyway, let's pull up more. Give your relationship a chance. So what I'm actually hearing with that card, you may have given this person multiple chances. That's really what I heard from Spirit, okay? So you were actually probably, you know, believing, because again, snake is also a symbolism for temptation. So maybe, yeah, this person is a charmer, all right? Maybe this person actually told you, hey, I'm going to change, all right? I'm going to change for you. See, I've changed because I love you that much, all right? I don't know why I'm hearing those, you know, words right now. But yeah. And so this brought you to believe the person or to trust this person. Maybe this person actually promised you that I'm not going to do those things again. I'm not going to cheat on you again. I don't know, I'm hearing that really. Or I'm sorry, it's never going to happen again. But then, boom, this person did those things again, all right? And you're like, wow. And that's why you probably found yourself trapped. At some point, you probably found yourself as if that it's hard for you to break free from the snake's charms, okay? That's really what I'm getting. But yeah, congratulations, because a lot of you were able to break free from that toxic cycle or toxic partnership. Okay, that no matter what this person says, you're not going to be trusting that person anymore, because most especially if they've done that multiple times, right? Oh, wow. All right. Let's actually pull it more. Not today. Not dealing. Okay. Boundaries. Well, there you go. Exactamundo. Not only were you able to learn balance in partnerships, or how important balance is in any type of relationship, but you also learn how to create healthy boundaries. Because group number 2, I feel that you're so loving, you're warm and giving. It's not to say you're gullible or that you easily trust someone, but you try to give them a benefit of the doubt. You really are a type of a person who doesn't want to think so negative about a person. You always give them a chance. That's why it says there, give your relationship a chance. But sometimes you have to choose yourself. But sometimes you have to learn to establish healthy boundaries. I feel a lot of empaths chose group number 2. Okay? And so I can resonate with you guys, alright? But yeah, that particular relationship or that particular connection has taught you to create balance and boundaries for yourself. Most especially, a lot of you may have gotten mixed up in a relationship or connection that is so toxic, which is very common for us empaths, okay? Because empaths are usually magnets for narcissistic people or toxic energy vampires, all right? It's hard. You know, being an empath myself, growing up, I've already dealt with a lot of, you know, toxic, low vibe people. It's so hard until now. I'm already 42, but it's so freaking hard, you know? Like, yeah, it's never that easy. If you think that since I've dealt with, you know, a lot of toxic people at a very young age, even within the family, all right, it's not to say that you've mastered everything. It's hard, all right? Most especially that empaths, they are naturally giving people, all right? They always wanted to help. And so they always try to give benefit of the doubt. Yeah. Very interesting. Honestly, that has happened to me, even to clients, you know. I was already picking up something really off with a client. I don't want to name her, okay? But that has happened to me 2021, where she actually took advantage, right? And here I am. I was, you know, not necessarily that I was naive or what, but I tried to give her benefit of the doubt until she actually created a lot of issues, all right? She actually, you know, kind of like, yeah, made me, you know, bring back the money that she has given me, all right, for a private reading. It was crazy. I don't have to go into details, but yeah, it happens. Especially when you try to give a person, you know, a benefit of the doubt, and you also pity that person because you felt that that person is in pain. But then again, yeah, those experiences, those type of connections will teach you a lot, okay? Will definitely teach you to establish boundaries going forward. So anyway, before I wrap things up, let me actually pull up a message for you, group number 2. Let's see. Any message for group number 2, please? All right, it says here, relationship patterns. Oh, it takes strength to recognize the need for change. There you go. So maybe that's also the reason as to why I could also, you know, feel that for group number 2, you successfully closed out a toxic or difficult cycle or pattern. So, for instance, the relationship pattern had something to do with you attracting the wrong type of partners or emotionally unavailable men or women, okay? And yeah, it says here, it takes strength. No wonder you got the strength card. It takes strength to recognize the need for change. So maybe in the past you weren't seeing it, okay? Until you begin to realize, like, hey, why is this happening so often? I've dealt with that type of a person, you know, 5 years ago, and here it is again. I'm dealing with, you know, that same type of energy. So, yeah, congratulations. If you're able to close out a very difficult cycle or pattern, relationship pattern specifically, congratulations. Know that this is actually for your highest growth or for you to become the best version of yourself, as you are a very beautiful person, an amazing person inside and out. That's all I have for you for group number 2. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye for now. Your turn, group number 3. You chose Rhodonite. Let's try to find out, what have you learned so far from your previous connections or past relationships? Spirit guides, archangels, and angels, please provide some guided messages for the collective who chose group number 3. Ace of Swords. You have here 5 of Pentacles in reverse. 10 of Pentacles. Judgment. Oh wow, 3 of Swords. Eight of Wands. Bottom of the deck, you have here Queen of Swords. Now, this is very straightforward as well for group number 3. So, we have here Swords energies, Aquarius, Libra, Gemini. And then we also have here Earth signs, Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus. Then we have Scorpio, if it's actually water. So group number 3, what have you learned so far from your previous connections or past relationships? Number 1, there is a lesson around integrity, honesty, truth, and open communication, all right? That was so strong for group number 3. First, the overall energy is Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords is all about truth and integrity. That's what she values the most. And I feel this is also what you've learned. How important or how valuable truth is in a partnership, in a connection. Whether it's a friendship, whether it's actually a business partnership, or a romantic relationship. It's really important to be around a connection in which there's honesty, all right? There's truth. There's clarity, because that's also the energy of the Ace of Swords. Clarity and truth. And I notice as well, you have a lot of cards about communication, because 8 of Wands for me is also a communication card. So I really feel this is what you've learned, whether this is actually what you needed to learn for yourself, that you need to be more open, transparent, and honest, or this is what you want in a partnership, or this is what you've learned, that the relationship is going to grow if there's openness, if there's that clear communication between you and this person. And so I'm also getting here as well, that's why I got the Three of Swords. Either you were in a connection or in a relationship in which you felt betrayed by that person or by those people. Okay? Because there's lack of honesty. Number 2, what I'm also hearing very strongly is that some of you may have been ghosted, okay, by somebody. And again, you felt betrayed by that. Either this person suddenly left you without telling you why. Again, communication. Without being open towards you. Like, I'm so sorry, we can't be together, or we have to part ways. Some of you were just really shocked, or were really confused as to why this person suddenly went MIA on you. And you're like, did I do something wrong? What is going on? You were okay the other day, and then all of a sudden this person just stopped talking to me. This person, disconnected from me. All right, that's what I'm getting. And so there is also a lesson around abandonment. Okay, for some of you, these are the wounds, abandonment wounds that you needed to heal. Because that was what was triggered within you as well. All right, from that previous connection or a past relationship. I feel it took some time for a lot of you, all right, to realize that. You got this Judgment card. It is a wake-up call. And speaking of wake-up call, the third message I'm hearing from Spirit is that some of you were actually caught up in a third-party situation. That's why I got the Three of Swords. You probably thought that this person is actually going to be giving you what you want. This really beautiful future. A stable partnership, but then all of a sudden this person just left you without telling you anything. And you're like, I thought that you're going to choose me over this person. And so I really feel that, again, you actually learned a lot from those previous relationships or previous connection, in which you also realize, if it's a third party, that, the importance of choosing yourself, okay? That you know your value. That you deserve somebody who's going to provide you a healthy relationship, okay? Instead of getting yourself wrapped up in a triangular situation in which all right, that number 1, it is not actually right to mess around in a relationship where, especially if they already have a family or they have kids already, even though you love this person so much, that you have to think about others as well. How it would create an impact on others. Because this is not just between you and that person that you want. Okay? Always remember that there's people involved. Most especially if they have children as well. Alright? I feel that a lot of you also realize that. Like, I want this person so much. I love this person so much. But I haven't thought about how this would create a negative impact as well on that person's kids or family. To allow that person to just leave those kids for you, alright? Because that's a sign that you can be selfish. Okay? So I feel some of you actually realize that later on, that, you know what? This is not for me. This is not what I deserve. This is not the kind of connection that I really, really want for myself. I want to be in a relationship where there are no issues or conflict. Where no more people are going to get hurt along the way. Alright? I'm even hearing, but this is for a very, very few of you, okay? But what I'm actually hearing from Spirit is that there's something about competing, for someone's attention. Or there's something about competition. Let's just put it that way. And there are some people who are like that. There are some people in which they actually get themselves wrapped up in, a relationship in which they know that they are the third party, all right? Because it feels good in the ego that this person would choose you, all right? Other than the person that they're with, or not the person that they're actually with, and it feels good, okay? And so I feel these are the wounds when you were growing up. That's maybe for one person out there, but that's what I'm hearing from Spirit, okay? In which you're only, kind of like feeling good or feeling validated because, of the competition. That you feel as if that you've won the battle, all right? Because that person actually chose you over that other person. It just feels good on the ego. But then you realize that that is not right. That's not the way to go, all right? That would not give you true happiness. I'm hearing shallow victory. Again, that's for maybe just one person out there. I don't know who is that for, but Spirit wanted me to deliver that message. But regardless, congratulations. Because you've learned that lesson. All right? So yeah, there's a lot of messages here for group number 3. Very interesting. Let's try to pull up more cards. Wow. I wasn't expecting that last message. That was so specific. I really heard it. So anyway, let's see what else. Change. Oh, wow. Look at that. Experiments. And it says here too, forcing change. How interesting is that? Group number 3. You got change, and one of the keywords here, it says forcing change. So we'll take that, okay? I feel that what you've learned from your previous connection or past relationship is that you cannot change a person. Maybe for some of you, you are thinking that if you do this, all right, things would change. I don't know, I'm hearing that. Or you are expecting that this person would actually change their ways for you. Okay? It was the hard truth, is actually what I'm hearing from Spirit. It took some time, but then you actually realized that, you know what? I cannot expect a person to change. I can actually influence that person in a way, to allow that person to understand that this is actually not good for him or her. But at the end of the day, it is their life. They are responsible for their own change. The only person that can change themselves is them or the universe. So you can't force change on someone, or for a situation to change according to your desire, according to what you want. Number 2, I'm also getting here as well that a lot of you also learn from your previous connections or past relationships that, I don't have any control of the situation, such a way that maybe you wanted this person to take action, maybe you wanted this person to do something, open up, whatever, okay? But then again, we have our own free will, right? Even if this is what you actually want, it is this person's free will to do something, to make a move, or to choose you, whatever, okay? And so I'm actually, getting here that a lot of you realize that nothing will happen, right? Even if this is what I want, even if I wanted this person to be doing this or that, it's their own choice. It's their own decision. And if this person's not going to be doing anything, even, all right, then I cannot expect for any growth or any progress to occur in our connection. It has to be both ways. Not just me, but also this other person. That's another thing I'm hearing based on these 2 cards. I feel some of you also, just like group number 2, may have dealt as well with a person who's a little bit manipulative, okay? Maybe that's for very few of you as well, in which you may have dealt with somebody with this dark shadow over here who may have also kind of like influenced you, or this person always forces things on you. And you've learned to stand up, okay? And have the courage to say no. Like, you know what? I shouldn't allow myself to be manipulated anymore, or to allow a person or any other person out there to just walk all over me, all right? There's also something about that. There's also something about not allowing somebody to manipulate them or to take control of them, okay? Wow. There's a lot for group number 3, I notice. Very serious energy again, I notice. So yeah, let's see what else. What have you learned so far from your previous connections or past relationships? Listening. Find balance. Oh, yeah. Wow. Okay. So, what I'm actually hearing based on these 2 cards, all right, let's start off with listening, actually. With the listening, I feel that you have learned to finally listen to your own inner voice. Especially with that example earlier that I heard from Spirit, in which maybe you were around people who are not of the best influence in your life. Maybe they have influenced you on some things, or they may have said some things, and you kind of like took it as a truth. All right? I don't know who is this for, but I'm hearing that. So instead of listening to your own inner voice, inner guidance, and trusting it, you may have given your power away. All right? That's why I got the balance. All right? Maybe some of you learned how to weigh things carefully first before you actually, decide about something, or before you believe someone. That's another thing I'm hearing, okay? So that's number 1, listening to your own inner voice. That's what you've learned, instead of allowing people to be influencing their opinion or voicing out their opinion on you, and you taking it as if it's the Bible truth, is actually what I heard, okay? Number 2, with the listening as well, maybe somebody may have given you advice. Somebody may already have given you some warning, or somebody may have kind of like told you or informed you to create balance, all right? Or there's something imbalanced, but maybe you weren't really listening, okay? So those are 2 things, 2 different things, all right? You weren't really listening until eventually you came to realize that, oh my gosh, yeah, what that person told me was right all along. So again, those are 2 different energies that I'm picking up from Spirit. And so I'm actually getting here that, yeah, with this fine balance, I feel that, yeah, what you've learned from previous relationships or past connections is for you to, yeah, engage in a connection where there's balance. Maybe because of, like what I said, maybe you're always the one who's been doing everything, and you cannot expect, somebody to be doing the same things that you've been doing. All right? That's the harsh truth. For instance, you are actually, a type who's actually very giving to someone, all right? But you can't always expect that person would also be doing that for you, all right? That's a harsh reality. That's why expectations really leads to disappointment. However, knowing all that, or knowing that fact, you have to create balance. All right. First, it's not to expect way too much from a person, or to expect that that person is going to be doing the same things that you've been doing. Okay. That's number 1. Number 2, all right, to create balance, or that balance in any type of partnership is very, very important. Those are the messages I'm hearing based on these two cards. Wow, there's a lot of messages for group number 3. I can't believe this. So yeah, let's move on to the next set of cards. Sovereign. Yep. That's exactly what I was talking about. So let's actually discuss that real quick, all right? Before I pull up another card. We were just talking about, for some of you, you may have actually kind of like allowed people to take control over you, all right? Because I'm getting that very strongly for group number 3. Because I was drawn to that shadow image earlier, in which this person or these people may have influenced you. And you kind of like believe them, or you believe it as if it's the Bible truth, because you always, do not trust yourself. Okay? You feel that they're better than you. And usually that's the case. When you really don't have confidence, or you don't trust your own judgment, your own discernment, and you feel that this person is actually way much better than you because of they're telling you that they're well experienced, or I've been doing this for a long time, or what, or I'm more experienced than you because I'm more older than you. And so you have the tendency to just really accept everything that they're saying, okay? But I feel that part of the harsh and hard lesson that some of you may have learned from these previous connections or past relationship is for you to take control of your life. That's why I got the Sovereign card. That you are still in charge of your own destiny. That even though 5 million people would tell you, hey, group number 3, this is what you should be doing, okay? This is what's right. It's not to say that you're just going to accept that as the truth, even though it's also accepted by the majority. You get what I'm saying? Because you have to learn how to take control of your life. You have to learn to believe in your own inner voice. That's you, with the Sovereign card, you being the captain of your own ship. And again, look at this. This lady is holding this cat. Cat is a symbolism for intuition. Wow. Let's see. Ooh, that was fast. All tied up. Right. Again, there's something about control for group number 3, okay? So I feel that some of you, you may have learned that, the lesson of allowing others to control you or giving your power away to others, all right? Because again, this reading is not just tied to a romantic partner, okay? It can be any type of connection. Whether it's a colleague, whether it's a family member, friends, whatever, okay? But I feel that some of you learned things the hard way, in which you may have given your power away to someone, or you allow this person or these people to control you. Just like with this lady over here. She can't actually move, okay? Anyway, let's pull up another card here. What group number 3 learned from their previous connections or past relationships. The path. Yeah. Okay. Thinker. Okay. So what I'm actually hearing on these two cards is this. I feel that those previous relationships or connections has taught you, okay, that each has their own unique path or challenges. All right, that's really what I heard. Whatever it is that they've done towards you, however it is that they've behaved towards you, that says a lot about who they are, all right? Number 2, what I'm also getting here, based on these two cards, is that you learned how, again, to take control of your life, to take charge of a situation by listening to your own inner voice. Because you got here the path. So maybe, some of you may have always kind of like listened, all right, to other people. It's okay. Again, it's okay to listen to other people's inputs, insight. Even you watching, tarot readers, giving you guidance based on those pick a card readings. It's okay, right? But always remember, at the end of the day, you should always trust your own inner voice, your own inner guidance, because this is your life. You don't allow what other people say to control you. There's something really about that for group number 3, which is totally different from the other groups. Some of the examples for group number 3 I noticed, it also appeared for group 1 or group 2. But yours is really unique. There is a story here, a very, very strong scenario that I'm actually getting. It's a mixture, actually. But yeah, for a lot of you, there's something about you taking charge of your own life. Being the captain of your own ship, okay? Another thing I'm hearing based on these 4 cards is that, yeah, you may have also learned from your previous connections or past relationship that, you know what, I have the power to create my happiness. I'm not stuck after all. Why am I allowing myself to be stuck over the past? This is not my end story, all right? Whatever it is that has happened to my past, it's already done, okay? But I have the power to create. I have the power to transform from those past hurts or from a past experience, all right? That shouldn't stop me, just like with this all tied up card here, that some of you, at one point, you felt as if that you're just stuck, okay? That nothing is moving. But you may have finally, you know, broke free from that rope or anything that's keeping you stuck, and you have realized, you have thought about it with a thinker card, that, you know what? That's not true. I have the, you know, ability to transform things. I have the power to create another chapter for myself. Not to be, you know, trapped or to be imprisoned from something that has occurred to me in the past. That's what I'm getting with all of these 4 cards. Wow, group number 3. A lot of messages for you guys. So let's see what's next. What have you learned from previous connections or past relationships? Community. Endless possibilities. Oh my gosh. Yep. See? Awakening genius. You really had a huge wake-up call, group number 3. Okay? And it's okay. Doesn't matter if it took you a while to realize it. You know, that's normal. Some people, they would learn their lessons within weeks, or some people may have been able to realize something in a span of what, 1 to 3 years? Doesn't matter how long before you actually realize all of these things, all right? Because we all are unique, okay? Some people may actually master something or learn, you know, something within a month or within 3 days. But even if it took you years to realize all of these things, that's okay. Honor that, okay? That's your journey. You are unique from everybody else. What matters is that you learned, right? That's what you should be grateful about, that you've learned, no matter what. And I feel based on these 3 cards, there's really something about people here. You got community. So number 1, what I'm actually hearing is that you've learned, all right, to be around healthy partnerships. Because maybe you were caught up or you were wrapped up in a type of connection in which that connection is not really for your highest good. Whether it's because it involves a lot of conflict, it's a third-party situation where there's a lot of people who's going to get hurt in the process. Because that's what I heard at the very beginning for a very few of you, okay? Others of you, it was a toxic connection. This person is very manipulative, things like that. All right. And so again, regardless of whatever specific scenario you're resonating with, those type of connections or relationships has taught you, all right, to be mindful of your associations, to be around people who's going to be bringing out the best in you, who's going to also share their wisdom, okay, to you. And there's that balance. No wonder you got a lot of cards around balance. There's that beautiful giving and receiving energy. Whereas in the past, maybe it's just one-sided, right? Or it is a connection in which this person is very much concerned only about themselves. All right? Another thing I'm actually hearing based on these 3 cards is that you have learned, all right, that there are endless possibilities. Whatever it is that has happened to you in the past, it's not to say you're limited, just like what I said, right? That this is over, this is it. It's not. It's actually, just basically teaching you that even if that connection did not work out, there are endless possibilities out there, only if you're going to allow yourself to be free. Only if you're going to allow yourself to be open. Like, yeah, that didn't work. That relationship did not work. There are more fishes in the sea. Maybe that relationship or that connection is not for me. That's just part of my journey. All right. And I'm now open to other possibilities out there. A person or a friend, maybe like-minded people, in other words. All right. Wow. This is so beautiful for group number 3. Sorry about that. So yeah, let's try to pull up another set of cards here. Sacred Temple. Ooh. Freedom. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's it. With the Sacred Temple, what I'm actually hearing is that finally, because of this awakening, all right, you are more connected to your inner temple, okay? That Sacred Temple, which is you. You really tried to go within, okay? And by going within, you had an awakening, group number 3. With the Thinker card that you actually got earlier, I'm hearing right now from Spirit that some of you, you're always trying to search for answers outside of yourself, or you're actually getting either answers from other people, thinking that that person has the answer for you. That person has the best solution for you. But when you decided, or when you realized that, hey, why am I always giving my power away? Why don't I go within? And I feel some of you, or a lot of you, did that. You went, within, or you tried to go within. And by doing so, boom, there you go. You finally found the answers. There is a quote in which I tried to find answers everywhere, only to realize that it has already, been inside of me, or it's already there. It exists within me. I don't know if that was Rumi or what, and I don't know if that's the exact quote, but regardless, all right? That's the point. And then you got the Freedom card. With the Freedom card, yes, congratulations, group number 3. You successfully broke free from something that is not for your highest good. Because a lot of you as well chose group number 3. You were mixed up, or you were in a toxic partnership as well. Or a type of relationship that is not really for you. Maybe it took some time because in your mind, no, this is my twin flame. This is my lover. And it took some time. And it's okay. All right. What matters is that you finally saw the truth. And you saw it yourself. You freed yourself from something, okay, that is heavy. Some of you, those type of connections or relationship has also taught you to release yourself from any patterns, okay? I'm also hearing very strongly that, yeah, maybe you were mixed up in a connection in which they always try to control you, like what I said, or manipulate you, and you try to give your power, just like what I said. You always believe them. It's like you really trust what they have to say. You always do that. You give your power, you give energy to what they're saying all the time. But finally, you were able to unshackle the chains that is bind you from being the person that you are or you're meant to be. That's really what I'm getting here. And I'm actually drawn to this, yeah, butterfly transformation. You've really transformed group number 3, okay? I feel as well that there were some inner child wounds because I'm drawn to this child over here. There were some inner child wounds involved for some of you, okay? I feel that's also part of what you've learned, that it has taught you to heal some wounds when you were still a kid, which is affecting your adulthood. That's another thing. But let's see, what else? Oh yeah, balance again. Oh my gosh. This is so interesting. And then parenting. All right. So I was just talking about inner child wounds. Okay. So yeah, let's start off with this parenting. So I really feel that since we were just talking about inner child wounds, that's it. That's a validation from spirit. Maybe how you were brought up by your parents or the environment that you grew up with when you were just a small kid. It has affected you. I feel it took some time before you actually realized that. And it's okay. It's normal. Right? Some of us didn't realize that until, yeah, you came across a blog or an article about inner child and you're like, what is this? That's actually what has happened to me. I didn't know anything about inner child until I actually stumbled upon, you know, this article and then some videos as well. And I was like, whoa. That's exactly what was happening to me. So yeah, I feel for some of you, it was actually also influenced by the environment that you were in growing up, whether it's your parents as well, caregivers, right? So those, you know, connections has taught you to heal that, okay? For some of you with the parenting card, that's why I actually heard earlier, all right, that maybe the person that you were dealing with is already a father or a mother, all right? And at first you weren't really thinking about how it's going to create a negative impact as well on the children, okay? Because again, this is balance. Maybe at one point you were just thinking about your own happiness or your happiness together with that person. But you weren't seeing why things didn't work out between you and that person. Because in your mind, you feel that, no, we're meant to be together, all right? This is my person. But then you fail to realize that that person may have actually decided to pull away, not because they didn't love you, but because that person had to choose their kids. And here you are, you were like, oh, wow, I didn't realize that, okay? Yeah, that person has a kid or a child. And so you have to put yourself in the shoes of others as well, right? It's not going to be that easy, all right? Maybe that person as well, it took some time for them, you know, to decide. But at the end of the day, they have to choose what they feel is right as well. Because they cannot allow their child or their children to grow up without a father figure or a mother figure whatsoever, okay? So, yeah. That's what I'm getting for very few of you. But then again, this is all about balance, okay? So I really feel the lesson of balance is very strong for group number 3. And look at this. This guy's actually looking at the horizon or the sun over here. So I feel that there's really something about you realizing that there's more out there, all right? I can't allow myself to be just waiting here in the balcony, standing there, doing nothing. There's more out there. Why should I allow myself to be, you know, stuck where I am when there's endless possibilities? That's another lesson that some of you may have learned. Again, there's so many messages for group number 3. Only take what applies. Some of you are also kind of like, wondering why is it that there's so many specific scenarios? Because that's the thing. It's a general reading. All right? Not one specific scenario is going to resonate for all because there's so many energies coming through. So only take what applies. All right, let's try to pull it more. Let's start off with this. What have you learned from your previous connections or past relationships? Group number 3. Are you kidding me, inner child? What did I tell you? Oh my gosh. What? I can't believe this. That's why, when I saw that freedom card, there's a child. I really heard it from Spirit. They're saying inner child wounds. So those connections or those partnerships from your past has taught you to heal your inner child, to reflect, to go within and finally see that, yeah, you know what? That's actually the reason as to why I also attract these type of connections or why this connection happened in the first place. It didn't happen for no reason at all. It happened because that connection is going to trigger me to work on my inner child wounds. Okay? That's why there's no such thing as accident when it comes to connections. So yeah, inner child and then letting go. So yeah, you were able to finally learn that lesson of letting go. You got the freedom card earlier to let go of some wounds from the past. That's number 1. Number 2, to let go of things that are actually not serving you. Whether it's you always giving your power away to someone, not trusting what your inner voice is telling you, or following your own discernment, or you letting go of a very toxic connection or relationship, whatever, okay? But yeah, inner child. Interesting. I just love how everything is matching here. Let's see what else. Ooh, there's actually a lot. Let's take all of that. Oh gosh. All right. Can't believe this. There's a lot of cards here. Let's put this here. Okay, we'll take all of that. Children. Are you kidding me? You got inner child, now you got children. Next, release your ex. Next, attraction. Next, new love. Oh yeah. And then finally, you got you deserve love. Whoa, this is so freaking amazing. Let's start off with the children card. Okay, so what I'm actually hearing, first you got inner child wounds. So again, some of you actually learned how to heal your inner child because of whatever it is that you were triggered with by those partnerships or previous relationships, okay? Number 2, just like what I said, somebody watching group number 3, you got yourself involved in a triangular relationship in which maybe this person already have kids and you were kind of like waiting for this person to release their ex or to release this other person, okay? That's actually what I'm getting. And it was so hard for you to let things go, okay? Next, I'm also hearing as well with the release your ex is that, yeah, maybe it took some time before you actually realize that there are some things that is meant to be let go of, or that there are some things that are not really for your highest good because it's actually affecting your present reality. Okay? I'm getting that as well. For some of you, the ex is somebody who's actually very toxic or is not really for your highest good anymore. Some of you, I'm also hearing that you stayed in the relationship because you have children with that person, even though you know deep down that the relationship is very unhealthy. Gosh, there's a lot of specific messages for group number 3. So yeah, I'm just going to go on and on and on. And then next, you got the attraction card. With the attraction card, this is you appreciating to smell the roses. So I feel the connection or the previous relationship has taught you to live in the present, all right? To appreciate the moment as well. And that for you to realize as well how beautiful you are, how attractive you are. She's also smelling the flowers. So I feel that this is also a lesson for a lot of you, chose group number 3, that not everything is going to be perfect. A rose is a very beautiful flower, but it has thorns. So it's part of the package. You will get hurt as well. And then next, you got your new love. So I feel, this is what I was talking about earlier, that some of you were stuck on the past. Because you are kind of like allowing yourself to be there. Without you realizing it, maybe, alright? You were stuck with your ex or a person from your past. And so you limited yourself, alright? But I feel those relationships or those past connections taught you to realize or to be awakened now that, hey, why am I limiting myself to that person? Okay, I'm single. So I deserve to be happy. That's why you deserve love, right? And so why am I limiting myself to a past person when there's endless possibilities out there? There's more fishes in the sea, all right? I'm single anyway. Why don't I enjoy my life? It's not like I'm committing a sin if I'm going to be inviting or rather being open to meet other potential partners, right? So some of you finally realize that, okay? Yeah, you deserve love. Especially if you actually finally realize that, why am I in this type of toxic connection? Whether it's because this person is manipulative, controlling of me, telling me to do things that I'm not supposed to, or telling me to do things that I'm not comfortable about. That's actually what I'm hearing right now. For some of you, you finally realize that you deserve love because you got yourself in a third-party situation, and yet this person's still not choosing you. And here you are finally realizing, hey, you know what? I deserve love. I should give that to myself as well. Wow, group number 3. There are so many lessons here, I noticed. Some of them are so freaking specific out of all the 3 groups, which is interesting. So, let's try to pull up one last card before we pull up your message, okay? Let's try this one first. Okay, you got I like you and then love call. Yeah, what I'm actually getting here with this I like you, I feel it's more about the person that you have dealt with from your past. Maybe that person, remember, there is lack of balance because of you are more open and demonstrative, or you openly express yourself to someone when you want somebody, but maybe this person actually was so guarded, or this person is not speaking their truth. There's something about communication issues as well. So that's actually what I'm getting with this I like you, because this is suggesting to me that the relationship could have been, really good if only there is that open and honest communication with the call, love call, that there's communication. There is that honesty between you and this individual. Because at the end of the day, they are telling me here that that person actually really likes you. But for whatever reason, they are holding themselves back. And again, it's not your issue. And you cannot expect for a person to change their ways, right? It would only make you feel disappointed if you do that. Because it's that person's responsibility to change or to heal themselves. And then you got the love call. Again, someone expresses love. So that's really what I'm getting here. Maybe you dealt with a partnership, or rather a person from your past, or a previous connection in which this person's having a hard time doing that. Expressing how they truly feel about you. That they like you, that this is what they wanted to happen. And you're like always thinking, does this person really wants me? What is going on? Alright, again, that's why at the very beginning of the reading, they're showing me that part of your lesson is that you've realized that communication, openness, or honesty is very important. okay? As well as speaking your truth or being clear with your intentions. That's one of the things that you've learned in your previous connections or previous relationship. Okay, so let's actually pull up a message for you. Okay, you got your 2 cards. Huh? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? It says here, listen with your heart. You are listening, but need to hear with a loving heart. Oh gosh. Let me just go back to one of your cards. If you can still remember, group number 3, you got listening. Remember this card? And now you got listen with your heart. So this is really what Spirit is trying to highlight for group number 3 as well. Okay? And based on what was discussed earlier when I saw that listening card, and with this card, listen with your heart. Again, there's something about you needing to listen to your inner voice, following your heart. Instead of always accepting or always just, accepting other people's opinion. It is okay to listen to them, but it's not to say you have to accept it as if it's a Bible truth. That is it, okay? You have to learn how to listen as well and follow your own heart, what your heart has been telling you. Otherwise, you are giving away your power, okay? Another message here, it says you are listening but need to hear with a loving heart. Always remember, there is a saying that listening is different from hearing, okay? Sometimes we listen to reply, all right? But we're not really hearing what this other person is trying to say, okay? That's another lesson for some of you. Next, you have here, look to your inner strength. You are stronger than you realize. Right. I feel that the connection or the relationships that you've had in your past has taught you to see how powerful you are. How strong you are. Because again, you may have given away your power always to other people without you realizing that, yeah, okay, I am actually strong after all. Why do I always, give my power away to someone? Why do I always, have to believe what other people are saying, or I'm accepting that as a truth just because it's also accepted by the majority? It's not to say that that is right, just because a lot of people are saying it. For instance, this is an example, because you got the inner child, okay? And Spirit is saying it's also for those who are resonating with healing inner child wounds. So maybe when you were growing up, okay, your parents, caregivers, or somebody, in your family may have actually conditioned you, okay? And then when you actually went to high school, or when you were growing up as well, you were around other people, they may have also said the same things, all right? And so here you are, you're accepting it as if it's the truth. For instance, you were told that you're worthless, or you're like this. You're not beautiful enough. You're not, good enough. Just because 5 people, 10 people, said those same things to you, it's not the truth, all right? It shouldn't be accepted as the whole truth or the absolute truth. Just because it is accepted or it is said by the majority. Always believe that. It's you finally realizing your power. It's you finally realizing how strong you are. And for those who are resonating as well with you were in a very toxic relationship or a partnership that is not for your highest good, you realize that you have the power, that you're strong to let things go. That you have the courage to finally move forward. Because you listened to what your heart has been telling you. Whoa, I really love your reading, group number 3. Honestly, This is my favorite pile. No kidding. This is my favorite pile. And there's a lot of specific messages as well that I noticed. Anywho, that's all I have for you. I will see you again next week. Bye bye.